prominent accountants hired by the insurance cartel to put prices on healthcare reform were so offended by how the insurers misused the research that the company today issued a public statement that took more wind out of the sails of the self-serving, myopic, corrupted, quote, study, unquote. Our fourth story in the countdown, the obvious heavy-handed late push by the cartel may actually facilitate the chances of a public option. In the interim, they cement the industry's position as the anus of America. No bleep required. You will recall that the insurance industry tried to skewer the Baucus bill yesterday by claiming it would force insurance companies to raise premiums more than if no bill were passed. But the accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers has now conceded in a statement that its audit did not investigate the entirety of the legislation. In other words, it ignored the savings, which was the exact charge made by Democrats who had called the report a hatchet job. And today, a spokesman for the insurance cartel tried and failed to dance around with Chris Matthews, its newfound out in the open opposition.
Again, I want to be very clear. We support health care reform. We think it's possible.
Do you want them to vote nay or yay today? What's your purpose?
You know, our purpose is to make sure that the American people and that policymakers
But you're a lobbyist. What do you want them to do? Vote yay or nay? You got to tell me what you're lobbying for. You're not on this program just to give us information. You're lobbying for the insurance industry. Do you want the Democratic and Republican members on the Finance Committee to vote for or against this bill today?
We cannot support this bill in its current structure.
Thanks for coming on, Sonny. Please leave your resume with Chris's secretary. So while the Baucus bill does have other legitimate problems, the insurance industry has played its hand poorly, at least in this case. An unnamed senior Senate Democratic aide telling Politico, quote, they have opened themselves up. It is an incredibly stupid strategic blunder. If you're going to fire a shot like this, you fire a good shot. Meantime, an update on our call to donate to the National Association of Free Clinics. More than 7,000 people have already responded, and they have donated, you have donated, $575,000. That would pay for more than one free health fair in its entirety. It comes close to paying for a second one. That's if there are no significant donations to it in terms of resources. The biggest cost, securing the arena-sized venues needed. Right now, they're focusing on New Orleans and Little Rock. Any help securing a large facility in either city would go a long way. The goal is to hold these health fairs in 5 key cities, in 5 key states, represented by the Democratic senators who have not yet said that they certainly would oppose a Republican filibuster of the public option. You can get more details or give what you can at freeclinics.us or countdown.msnbc.com. We'll keep you posted. $575,000. Let's bring in the senior editor at The New Republic and author of Sick, Jonathan Cohn. Thanks for your time tonight, sir.
Hi, Keith.
The insurance cartel has been so good at this, so professional in this kind of evil way. They've spent so much money. Did they indeed screw this part up?
Yeah, boy, I really think this was a misfire. You know, they were trying to do what the special interests always do. You know, you got some money, you go out and hire some accounting firm to cook up some study that makes it look like, you know, what you want, you know, puts out your argument and puts the imprimatur of a authority, respected accounting firm, and everyone is supposed to believe it. But it was so transparently bad, it was so transparently dishonest that immediately everybody recognized it. They managed both to, I think, discredit themselves with most of the media, or a lot of the media, and more importantly, I think they really alienated a lot of people in Congress who maybe thought, well, look, you know, they're saying some nice things about reform, maybe we can work with these people. Well, I think they alienated quite a lot of people.
Well, clearly the alienation was registered today, but is there any chance that there is a rallying point here? Lawrence O'Donnell said he saw no one taking advantage of this opening here. Is there anything on which support for the public option can be based, or is that wishful thinking?
I don't think it's quite wishful thinking. I mean, look, this isn't going to change the tide of that fight instantly. But I think if you listen to the comments of the senators at the Senate Finance, you listened to Senator Wyden on your show a few minutes ago, this is good ammunition. I mean, the fight here is about, do you trust the insurance industry? That's what the public option fight is about. It's also, if you look at a lot of the other elements of health care reform, how closely do we regulate the insurance industry? All of this comes down to a question of, do you trust the insurance industry? And when they put some something out like this, again, that is so obviously dishonest, it really kind of blows their credibility out of the water. And I do think that can matter. I do think supporters of a public option can use this to get a little more momentum on their side. And maybe that doesn't get us all the way to a public option, but maybe it gets us to a good compromise on it, whether that's some kind of trigger or this opt-out idea that you were talking about before.
Materially, how is that done? I mean, the pro-reform interests have to do what to counter this? Do they have to put out their own numbers, ads that emphasize how the insurance industry cooked the books and threatened everybody?
Well, I do think it's important to put out their own numbers. I mean, this argument is now out there. It is going to get repeated, even though people like you and me understand it's a bogus number. So it's important to get some other numbers out there. But I also think, again, I think this is important to say, look, these are the people asking us to trust them. They come up, they make dishonest arguments, and to make the point that, look, they're promising to raise your premiums. This is what they're saying. Do you want to just trust them to deliver affordable health care? I think that's the argument that people need to make.
Does it, being as interested and knowledgeable about this subject as you are, do you just drop to the floor and kind of try to roll away from the fire when you hear something like, as I did on the leading all-news radio station in New York the other day, this survey, this research quoted, and a mention being made that it was funded by the insurance industry, but no mention being made of this gigantic logical leap that you have to make that says, well, they've just said the result here is going to be it's going to be necessary to raise premiums when the survey has been sponsored by the people who will actually raise the premiums. Why is that such a jump for the news media in this country? It doesn't seem to me to be a partisan point to say who it was who promoted the study and what it is they will do when the results of reform are accomplished or are not accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, it seems incredibly obvious to me. I mean, all the signs were there. I mean, this study had a big neon billboard sticking right on top of it saying, this is a bogus study, and this is the insurance industry basically telling us that, we want to, we may end up raising your premiums. I mean, it's a very logical leap. I don't understand why anyone in the media would report it as anything else than a piece of propaganda.
And yet, there it was. Jonathan Cohn of The New Republic, author of Sick. Great, thanks again for your time.